Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Elite SMRI Grand National Series, racing tonight from New Hampshire. Whole new round in the playoffs. After everything that happened last week at Talladega, crazy finish. Tonight's race is the Byrd 100. R.C. Enerson and Gerald Campbell are on the front row. Should be an exciting race. Should be able to run all over this place. What are you looking to see tonight, Nick?
I don't know. First of all, it's good to be back. I'm kind of bummed I missed the cutoff race last week at Dega. All those last second shakeups there I saw. But I don't know. I mean, New Hampshire. We've seen a lot of caution fest here. We've seen it go a lot of green flag racing. Kind of don't know what's in store tonight for us.
Yeah, I look for some yellows early, maybe get a long run and some yellows late. It just depends. iRacing has kind of changed the grip levels at this place, so they should be able to run in more than just one or two lanes. As I said here, you got Ethan up there. And Ethan, I believe, is on the outside looking in. Chad is starting third. I believe he's on the outside looking in right now. Like I said, the points are really, really tight right now. We're starting the new round here after Talladega. A whole lot of things happened if you didn't get a chance to watch Talladega last week. Between pit entry and the start-finish line, the points just got flipped on their head as everyone wrecked coming down the front stretch.
Yeah, and as you said, starting the second round here of our chase format in the Elite Racing Series. We start off here in New Hampshire, then we go to Auto Club, and then close it out at Atlanta to decide who makes the final four. So I think, for some of these guys that, aren't that great, maybe not great at mile and a half, super speedways, I think they're going to have tonight circled. Go out there and try to punch their ticket to the final four.
Yeah, and I think everybody's kind of happy that it's going to be a straight-up round here, too. You don't have that super speedway sitting out there. You don't have a road course sitting out there. It's, like you said, the three ovals you just said. It's, saving tires is going to be important. Tonight is probably the most risky race of all of them. This is going to drive a little bit like a short track. Pace car is off, and RC is gone. Gets a great jump there out in the lead. Looks like Gerald's going to get in line in second. Chad's going to fall in third. Chad's trying to work that bottom up under Gerald there off two. And like I said in the pre-race here, we should be able to see guys run everywhere on this racetrack. Apron to the third, fourth lane. Chad's really trying to get that second spot there from Gerald. Not quite going to get clear. Look, Gerald might have had to crack the throttle. He's going to get clear now, and here comes Ethan underneath Gerald.
Got a little three-wide action. Oh, I thought we were going to go three-wide back there with Jeff Green. But I remember coming back here a couple months ago, being teammates with RC.
We got somebody down in the grass. It's a red car. It's going to be all right.
Josh Clark, Harrison Talion. Did a good job holding on to that thing, keeping it off the inside fence. Taking a little ride through the grass, but...
Yeah, and that grass back there, when you get down there, it's got some big, ditches in it. That can tear up a race car, so he's very lucky to get away with that. Everyone's kind of getting single file here, it looks like, for the most part. I didn't get a chance to talk to anybody that's racing in this race tonight, so I'm not real sure how the setup feels. So kind of flying by the seat of our pants, not real sure about the fuel window. So we're going to find out when you do. I'm guessing that fuel window is between about 80 and 100, if I had to guess.
I don't know about you, but I'd be pretty shocked if these guys dove in there and got a little loose. Typically, I think when you come to New Hampshire, these things driving like dump trucks around here.
Yeah, iRacing tends to have their setups a little bit on the tight side.
But I was gonna say, coming back here a couple months ago, in the Elite Cup Series there, being teammates with Chad and RC, those two guys are running up front all night long. So I would expect kind of the same thing here tonight. RC being, great at road courses, and I think that kind of transfers a little over here a little bit to New Hampshire.
Yeah, with how you use the brake here in Martinsville, road course racers typically run pretty well. Chad's right there with him. We've seen that a lot these last, what, 6, 8 races. We've seen Chad and RC run 1-2 a lot. Is that dwindling over to the Cup program on Wednesdays, Nick? I know you're teammates with those guys on Wednesdays. Do those cars have the same speed that these cars have?
I don't know. It's a little tougher over there when everybody's all, you know, pedal to the floor. Just kind of a lot of luck on qualifying over there, depending on where you start. But hopefully, I'm hoping, you know, I advanced to the next round of the chase, next round of the playoffs. So hopefully, hopefully that speed carries over.
Yeah,
hopefully
we'll
Chad doesn't show me on motor over there.
We'll have to wait and see, man. See what happens on Wednesday night. Everybody should tune in and check it out. But right now, we've got great action going on here between Ethan and Gerald. Ethan is still trying to get that spot. I think Gerald might be struggling a little bit, maybe saving his tires. It's hard to tell. It's real early.
And so far, our top 10 running pretty much where they started. You know, not a lot of movers coming to the front or people falling to the back for the moment.
Yeah, it looks like you said, the cars look like they're pretty tight getting down into the corner. It looks like that's going to force everybody to try to stay single file. It's going to be pretty difficult to pass if that's the case. Everybody's kind of running that second, third groove. We're right on board with Ethan here. We'll see as he goes into one. Let's see if that wheel goes to the right at all. Looks like it's pretty snug there on the left. Just a lot of wheel in it here at this point in the corner.
What do you think these guys got their rear brake set at, Chris?
Man, if I was out there, I'd have it pretty low. As tight as it looks like it is for Ethan, I'd be down about as low as I could crank it. Rear brake is one of the very few, if not only, adjustment that these guys can make in a fixed setup, and that could really help you try to rotate the car into braking. But another thing it'll do is it'll wear out the rear tires, and if, you know, New Hampshire, typically you lose rear grip coming off the corner, so for that short run speed, yeah, that's going to be great. You're going to rotate the center, you know, using the brakes through the corner. But the longer the run goes, if you start losing rear grip, you're not going to have as much rear grip as everybody else at the end of the run. But if you can manage that, you're not going to heat up the right front tire, and you're not going to be as tight in the middle. So it's, you know, kind of a balance thing on what you want the car to be doing and what you think you can manage later. Looks like right now, Ethan is still stuck behind Gerald, just cannot make that pass. But they do have a nice little gap behind them to the 11, so it's not like, you know, it's not like Ethan feels like he has to go or has to try to make something happen. He's got a gap behind him. So Gerald's obviously got some speed in that car, just not as much as Ethan at this point. We got Fody and Jeff Green side by side there. C2 Freight, one of our great sponsors that helps do a lot here with the lead. You see Jeff Green a little loose on the brakes there. Looks like he's got quite a bit of rear brake dumped in that car, Nick.
Yeah, I'd probably, like you said, I'd probably have that thing cranked back a little bit. These cars look a little tight. Crank all the rear brake in that thing that you can handle. Try to get that thing to rotate.
And Fody's going to make that pass. So there was our side-by-side battle for now. Hopefully these guys can get to moving around a little bit and we can see some more stuff, some more racing maybe on older tires. After last week at Talladega, where nobody led the same lap, you know, nobody led 2 laps in a row basically. This week, you know, we have yet to see a lead change here as RC has led all 14 laps from the drop of the green so far.
P56, Garrison Hogan. Oh, Tate's just going to let him by here. He was working Tate over for 5 to 10 laps there, and I think Tate, you know, finally decided he was a little bit faster and just let him go.
Yeah, and another thing I'm going to point out here, it looks like Chad is starting to drop back to Gerald. Maybe Gerald was saving his tires a little bit because all of a sudden he's kind of, you know, driven away a car length and a half or 2 from Ethan, and he's driven up to the back bumper of Chad here. So mark it down about 15 laps it took Gerald to get back to Chad.
Yeah, and Gerald's, I mean, his last lap was within 100th of a second of our leader, R.C. Enerson. So, you know, Chad was a 10th slower. So maybe that 31, like you said, saved his tires a little bit better, starting to come on a little here.
Yeah, just inching up all the way through the corner. Just look how much better he's rolling the center than Chad is right now. His car cuts through that center so much better.
I would guess old Chad's probably not going to make it too easy here on Gerald. You think?
No, I don't think so. I don't know, though. Chad's racing for a lot. Second, third here. Yeah, you know what? You're probably right. This is probably going to be a race right here. As now, look at everybody driving up to him. Now Chad is really holding everybody up.
Yeah. The longer that Gerald can't make this pass happen, I mean, it's just going to bring the 37 Ethan Burrell, 11 Matthew Weeks right into this thing. And then RC's up there just, you know, loving what he's seen in his mirror, just driving off into the sunset so far.
And you can see Gerald go in and get a little bit higher than Chad. And that's by design, because he knows he can cut the middle better, so he knows he can cut all the way across the bumper here. See, here it is. He's half a lane higher, and then he's going to cut a little bit, and now he's a half a lane lower, right through the center of the corner. Drives right there.
Oh, that's going to be tough to make this happen down here. Just giving it a look.
Looks like he went in pretty late on the brakes. Even doing so, he still rotates the middle better than Chad. Chad's got the run off in that preferred outside line, so we'll see if Gerald can try to do this down here at this end of the speedway. A little bit later.
Yeah, I don't know if he drove it in hard or Chad kind of, you know, just kind of let him have it right there.
I think it was I think Chad lifted a little early and Gerald lifted a lot later. Textbook pass right there. Now we'll see if Ethan can do the same thing. Because it looks like Chad is struggling a little bit, because at this point there's 5 cars lined up behind him, almost 7, all the way back to Jeff Green. Really is all pretty close to these guys. Chad just really struggles that late middle there where we seen Gerald try to drive underneath him and kind of make that work. That's where Chad is struggling. He just cannot get his car to turn back to the bottom. He's lost his front turn. Even with Ethan, see Ethan half a lane lower there coming out of the corner. Ethan's going to get up to his door. Right here's where Chad struggles. But he's in the preferred line, but Ethan's going to beat him off the corner even on the bottom.
He got a pretty good run out of there, see if he's able to make it work. Drives it in a little hard to washing up. Oh, man. I thought there was going to be some contact right there.
It's
I think
not
Chad
over yet.
Saw it.
I'll tell you this, Chad's hoping for a yellow, because if this thing stays green, I mean, he could fall out of the top 10 with the amount of pace he's lost at this point. He just cannot get that car to turn. Now he's got Matthew Weeks, and now it's just that every time he loses a spot, somebody else is right there on his bumper. You don't know that feeling, Nick. I don't think you've ever used a set of tires in all of your time on iRacing, but I know the feeling of where Chad is at right now, and you're just holding on. Looks like the 56 is going to dive inside of Tooker here down into 1 as well. I think Tooker just let him have it. He said, go ahead, buddy. Kind of surprised Fody hasn't made more ground than he has after the Jeff Green pass. He's still not really gotten to the back of Tate. And really hasn't left Jeff Green. They're just sitting there together. So we didn't do it pre-race, Nick. So we get to see some racing here. We got to see, what is this, about 25 laps. Who's your pick to win this thing? You think anybody's going to be able to go out there and get RC?
Man, I don't know. I mean, Gerald's gonna come on strong here. He's been pretty much matching RC's laps the last 5 to 10 laps once he passed Chad. I think if anybody's gonna do it, it might be that 31.
Yeah, I mean, we've already seen, as we ride on board with Matthew Weeks here, we've seen RC stink up one of these playoff races already. He's not in the playoffs. Didn't make the number of starts, didn't have the points to get in. And this is trying to be the second race in the playoffs that he is, taking points away from everybody else. If a non-playoff driver wins a race, nobody locks into the next round, and that makes it great for us moving to the next week, knowing that everybody is still, fighting. Nobody's taking the week off like we saw last week, where Chad was able to be a little bit more aggressive at Talladega because he was locked into the next round, so he can make moves, and if they wreck, they wreck.
Yeah, and this whole pack, chasing Ethan Burrell. I mean, Ethan Burrell's the point leader, up by 14 points, so, he's just out there kind of just trying to extend that gap. But, this whole pack behind him, Chad, on board with Matthew Weeks, Garrison Hogan right behind him, Tooker behind him, they're all racing for, that final couple spots here to make the last round, make the finale.
Yeah, and one thing I will say, it looks like Chad has fallen off worse than everybody else. One thing about not being able to rotate the center, and the guys behind you and around you can, is they might be ready to go, and you're not, and they get back into the gas a little bit to try to stay close, to try to be able to pull out and make that pass, and that's, a lot of times we'll see contact, and we'll see somebody get churned, and if Chad gets churned here, being in the playoffs, that would be very detrimental if it were to, cause some damage, were to spin and get hit, something like that. But we see that a lot here with some contact, and it's incidental. It's not like the guy means to turn you. It's just very easy to do at New Hampshire. Got us a battle going on back here in the pack. I believe that's Clark in the 82, Dylan Thomas in the 03.
And Clark, he's in the 9th spot in points right now. He's still in this, battle for the championship. So.
And that's Goodman in the 44.
Not having the run he wants so far, but they're pretty much everybody in the top 8 running in front of him, but looking to hopefully improve that.
There's the 51. We saw him, make that save. He's still out there. So we shift back to the front and get a look at RC. Oh, looks like just going to go up and give up 2 spots there. I believe that's Hank and Ryan there. Just went around the 32. Not sure who's in that car. Dustin Dewar. We got Matthew Weeks now underneath of Chad here for 3rd place.
It looks like he got a pretty good run off too. I think he'll be able to make this pass down here in turn 3.
And the 56 is going to try to come right with him. Chad just really struggling. Really struggling.
I believe all these guys are teammates too, so he's got the whole brigade looking to follow each other.
Look at this, we got contact. The 56, the 15.
I don't think that's going to bring out a yellow either. It's going to stay green.
Man, it's like I can see the future. Just a little bit of contact where you just can't quite, churn as good as somebody else. Get a little bit of contact. That's all the 56, though. I believe just... Oh, it was Chad. Chad got loose.
Yeah, it looks like Chad got loose, came down a little bit right there.
Yeah, Chad got loose, and you're already running close, coming off the corners here. It's so hard.
I think that's just one of those classic things where, the car's pushing, and you got someone wheeling to it, and it just, gets a little loose. And
yeah, and that's all it takes. He gets loose, moves left 3 or 4 inches, and the 56 is there.
You see he's got all that wheeling to it, trying to turn, and then it finally does turn. Just a little contact in the left rear.
And that contact is probably worse for the 56. He hit that inside wall pretty solid. No safer barrier down there. We'll see if he can get away with that. He was one of the better cars, worked some traffic and everything, and now That's pretty
Yeah,
substantial damage to the left side.
and both of those guys too. Also, playoff contenders. I mean, Garrison Hogan, third in points.
Not a whole. Chad's car looks good. For like I said, I don't think he got terrible damage there. There he is sliding again off the floor. That's just a product of Chad's tires being gone. Just like I said, you're backing up. These guys are trying to pass you, and you're trying to fight them. It's nobody's fault. It just, like you said, it's so tight, and then it snaps loose, and right there's some contact. Very lucky that he didn't. If Chad turns right there, if he gets turned right there, he's either going to get hit or hit the inside wall more than likely at that point. He's very lucky that the 56 was down there after the initial contact. The 56 was still down there to catch him and not let him get all the way to the inside wall, because the 56 ended up taking the brunt of that hit.
Yeah, and also very lucky both of them kept it straight too, because that New Hampshire front stretch. I mean, you got the inside wall, you got the outside wall. Just sometimes turned into pinball down there when a car gets turned around.
Yeah, as you see our top 5, we got RC, and it's about almost 2 seconds to Gerald. Ethan is back there about 4 seconds, 5.5 to Weeks. And Tooker's right with Weeks. They're right there together.
And Gerald's maintaining about a 2-second gap. RC, I mean, it's kind of going back and forth, flopping times a little bit, but so far he's been able to maintain that gap.
Yeah, and Gerald's one of the guys, he does some broadcasts for Elite. I believe he does the Sunday Night Truck League, and Chad runs a league every night, just about. So the Sunday Night Truck League, Gerald's a broadcaster for that, and does a great job. So not that we want to pick anybody to root for, but if Gerald can win tonight, maybe one of us on Wednesday, and we just keep that pattern going, and keep announcers keep winning. That'd be great, right?
Yeah, maybe we'll announcers will have some good luck. Oh, almost some more contact back here with Chad in 63. I thought they were gonna wreck off of here off of 2. Real tight.
It's just Chad's just fighting, fighting for every spot. He's almost ran back down the 56. That tells me that the 56 is pretty hurt. I wouldn't be surprised if maybe even the toe was out a little bit on that 56, as solid as he hit that inside wall.
Oh yeah, I mean he's running about half a second off the pace off our leaders. So I mean I think that thing's, like you said, pretty tore up. Maybe some damage to the toe.
And we were able to break down what happened and see it and take a look. We don't know what Chad's thinking. Chad might be thinking that guy wrecked me. We don't know. So when Chad gets to him, because he's obviously going to get to him, even though Chad is really struggling right now, the 56 has got that damage and is super struggling. So Chad could be sitting there thinking, I get back to that guy, it's lights out.
Yeah, and the 63, I mean, Hank Steinmiller is also a playoff contender. Oh, man.
More contact. That's just, Chad is just fighting so hard.
Yeah. And you see, like, coming off of every corner, you see how unstable that 50, look at that. Yeah, you just see how unstable that car is, how hard he's pushing.
Yeah, and you might think, well, why not short pit? But, I mean, 40 laps here is not a lot. You're going to be, if you short pit, you're going to be a lap down for 30, 40 more laps, So, and if the fuel window is, if the fuel window is 100 laps, if they can go 100 laps, that's a 2-stop race. Pit on lap 100, pit on lap 200. So if you're looking at the fuel numbers and you're seeing that, wow, look at.
Yeah.
Is that
Somebody's got some Mr. Feel Goods out there.
I was like, I know Chad's struggling, but man, that's lazy.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing is, if you're Chad and you're struggling on longer runs, like, do you want to short pit and be the first one, have the oldest tires out there 20 laps later? I mean, I don't think so.
Yeah, but here's the thing, too. We say he's struggling on longer runs. Yeah, he's struggling on lap 40, but he's been struggling since lap 15 or 20. Like, at that point, 10 laps is a short run. 20 is not a long run by any stretch of the imagination. He's been struggling already at this point for 20 or 25 laps, so that's got to be, he's got to think about that and realize, okay, I killed him. I can't be doing what I did there again. Here we go. We'll see if Chad thinks that the 56 caused that or not.
I don't think the 56 can put up much of a fight here. I think his car is a little too hurt.
Or maybe the 56 says, you wrecked me because you're driving way too hard, for this at that point. Oh, here we go. Look at this. Man, I don't know if that was an attempt to get to that left rear or not, but it sure looked good. But like you said, he just had nothing to take to the fight. He's got to, hope that there's a yellow and fix the damage. Chad would probably take the opportunity to fix his damage.
And that could be, a huge swing for these guys too, because they were running, top 5, and now all of a sudden they're running almost outside the top 15. So I mean, it's a 10-point swing right there, just in that quick little incident.
If it stays green, that 56 will be lapped in 30 laps.
Yeah, so I mean, potentially more than just 10 points. I mean, that's a huge championship implications if they can't recover.
Yep, and RC, he's still the leader, still led this whole way. And Chad came in here, I think they take 4, right? 4 to the championship race. So Chad came in here already under the cut line. 1 point behind David Tooker. But Garrison Hogan in the 56 was only 2 points in front of Chad. So these both are right on the cut line. That's what somebody like Tate Lytle or Hank Steinmiller or Jeff Green.
Yeah.
You mentioned Joshua Clark. That's what they want to see. They want to see those guys at the cut line or just above it having some issues, bring them right into it. As we see, on board with RC Enerson here, I'm not sure if anybody's shifting at this point. Looks like RC is definitely shifting. There it is. Yeah, you see him down to 3rd, back up into 4th. Let's see if he's going to downshift down here. Yep, right there. Throw it down into 3rd gear. That tells me that these cars are not getting very loose in the long run. If you are comfortable throwing it down into 3rd gear and getting the drive off, the car, is not getting very loose unless you're abusing it.
I would expect some pit stops here in the next 5 laps or so, approaching halfway. So I would think a lot of these guys are just going to split it right down the middle.
Well, we don't. What's the fuel window?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think they can go the whole way. I don't think so.
If somebody can, it'll be Hank Steinmiller. I have seen that guy make more fuel out here running around than anybody else on the scene.
Yeah, I mean, that could be a huge swing for him too, I mean, he's running 10th. It's not, not having a bad run by any means, but, do you take that chance and roll the dice with that strategy?
We got Chad coming to pit road here. Chad's coming right here off of 4. So there it is. They've made the decision that they're just going to pit and try to do something here. Now what you're hoping is that it stays green. Caution will kill you at this point.
Man, I don't know. I think if I were Chad or the 56, being damaged and stuff like that, I try to run it as long as I can, hope for a caution, because typically the best chance for cautions is when you get guys that come down pit road all on fresh tires, and
there it just about was.
Just about was right there. Because the closing rate's so big, you come in to get tires, you're so much faster than the guys on old tires, and that's when your caution happens. You got all these guys mixed up on different tire strategies out there.
In the worst case scenario for Chad, like if yellow comes out now, he'll stay out, take the way around, be able to lead that. Worst case scenario is if most people stay out, and then in 5 or 10 laps you get a yellow. Then, you're going to take the wave around, but you're at a disadvantage to everybody at that point. Chad navigating some traffic, trying to come back through.
32, Dustin Dewar coming down pit road right there in front of Chad. Was running 12th at the time. So if you're Gerald Campbell or Ethan Burrell and running 2nd or 3rd, do you try a short pit RC?
Well, I think you have such a gap. If I'm Gerald in 2nd, well, Gerald's not in the playoff. Ethan's in the playoff. If I'm sitting up there where I've got 5, 6, 7, 8 seconds to 10th place, I'm willing to give up some time here and try to wait for RC and Gerald to pit and lead a lap. Get a point. Every point matters in these playoffs. You don't know if you could go next week and get wrecked or have some kind of issue. I mean, we're not racing there in real life, so we could have internet issue. A storm could come through, an inopportune storm could, determine if you advance or not. So I would try to get a point, try to increase my gap, and know that if it stays green, I'm going to pass people back who short pit me. As now, now's an opportunity for a yellow as well. We've got guys out there on old tires. We've got guys on new tires. We've got guys who pitted 10 laps ago who are in the middle. They're going to be faster than some, slower than others. You're trying to watch behind you, watch in front of you. It's a lot more than just racing around the track at this point. We've got Gerald coming in. He's decided he is going to try to jump RC here. We'll see if RC is going to answer here real quick. RC, I would not be surprised if he's going to pit this very next lap. These guys are racing for the win. This is a pit call to win the race, not to try to lead a lap or jump some kind of strategy.
And it's been pretty significant fall off. I mean, about a second and a half.
And there it is, RC with the answer right away. Yeah, if you're racing to win, that's the call you make.
See, Ethan, like you said, staying out, getting that bonus point.
Yeah, now watch Ethan probably pit this lap or next lap, depending on if he was able to be in front of RC at the line, which I believe he was. So I'd look for Ethan to pit either this lap or next lap. He might be unsure, stay out an extra one just to make sure, or he might know and just come on down. Looks like he's staying out another lap.
See where RC shakes out. He should have about the same lead on Gerald right there.
I think Gerald should be a little closer. Gerald should be just a hair closer to RC.
Oh, he might have lost. It looks like about the same, about 2 seconds, maybe. We'll see when it all cycles out, I guess. But
I look for Ethan to be pitting any time. Like, I think Ethan led his lap. He's going to pit. Yeah, here he comes. Watch Weeks do the same thing now. Weeks will lead this lap. Weeks will pit next lap, if I had to guess.
'63 Hank Steinmiller's on pit road, so the Furu on pit road.
I would not be surprised if Weeks pits this time, Tooker stays out another lap and leads. Oh, it looks like Weeks is going to stay out another lap. I kind of thought the teammates might work together to make sure they all lead a lap.
Yeah, I mean, like, do you think that their game is being played? You try to stay out a little longer than the guys behind you, try to prevent them from leading any laps, getting some points?
Well, I don't know, because I think Weeks and Tooker are teammates, so. I'm kind of surprised that Weeks maybe would do this, as Burrell's going to pass them all. Tate's pitting. Tate's going to pull into the pits here.
I mean, unless their strategy is to go as long as they can and hope Yellow comes out.
That could be. Weeks, Weeks is a guy that's not afraid to roll the dice and say, I'm going to try to do something that will help me win the race. I'm not here to run fifth, so we will see what he does. Tooker's going to go ahead and pit, so obviously the teammates are not. That tells me that Weeks is obviously probably going to run this thing for a little bit. I'm sure that they're communicating. I don't know that Tooker pits if if Weeks is like, hey, I'm pitting here in a lap or two or even three. I'm guessing that tells me that Weeks has said, I'm going to run as far as I can. Tate's going to make the pass here. And here comes Chad behind him. Chad jumped up here towards these guys by short pitting. But Chad is going to really pay the price for this if it stays green. Chad's already, struggling through these corners. He's going to blend off with Tooker here. Wow, this is kind of a mess with, some of these guys on fresher tires.
Yeah, Chad's already fallen off about a second a lap, so I mean, just shows you how quick these tires are fading.
Trying, you know, Weeks went down there to give them enough room.
That almost
Chooker,
got a little hairy right there.
if I'm Chooker, I'm trying to make this happen fast. You can't get stuck behind him. Yeah, there it is. Look at that. Got the drive off. I think Jeff Green's going to make quick work of Chad as well. All these guys pitted after Chad did, so.
One thing I noticed too, 56, Garrison Hogan staying out there, like we talked about before. You know,
Here comes
maybe.
Fody. Fody's pitting. Oh, Gerald Campbell's hung up in some traffic there. Just about had us a wreck coming through 3 and 4. Gerald really struggling with this traffic right now.
Yeah, it doesn't help when they're side by side in front of you either. And you're on fresh tires, gonna shoot the top.
Wow, that is aggressive. What a mess for Gerald there. Oh, I think the 03 and the 28 there, I believe that's who that is, right? They got together getting down in the 3, both went way up the track.
I thought it was Chad for a second, got the same colors.
And looking at the back of Dylan's car, there's quite a bit of damage on the back of that car. Somebody has ran in pretty hard and hit the back of that car.
It tells me when we see rear end damage on a car, it tells me you might have been in the way at some point tonight.
Yeah, or maybe the guy behind you overshot the corner, is what you would say, right? If you're driving that 03, you're like, I didn't brake any earlier or any harder. You just went down there way too hard. And that guy says, hey, you were in the way.
And it's like, what's the old saying? You know, if your right side dropped off the thing, you were using people up. But if the left side dropped off the thing, then you were the one getting used up.
Yep. And here comes Weeks. So Weeks, I'm guessing this might have been as far as he could go. There it is, RC back out front. But one thing to point out here is not everyone has pitted. It's just these guys were way fast coming through there. I believe, like you said, the 56 is still running around out here.
Yeah, and I kind of like the call. You know, take the gamble. There's gonna be yellow somewhere. I mean, we've almost had a couple. So, you know, caution comes out now. He's pitting from 5th instead of 20th.
Yeah. Still rough though to stay out this long. Because at this point, Dylan Thomas pits from right in front of him. That could have been big. But yeah, at this point, when you do pit, though, you are going to be a lapper. But at the same time, knowing that he has that damage, he was going to lose that time anyway.
Yeah, I mean, you see how the 3 wide action going here. I mean, I'd be staying out there too, banking on a yellow.
Yeah, but you don't want to be the one in the 3 wide action. As Chad is now, he got there, short pitted, got those tires. Well, now he's worse off than he was the first round. He can't even really put up a fight for these guys.
Yeah, but, like he went, 40 laps on that first set of tires? Now he's got to go 60. So, 50% longer than he did the first round.
Yeah, but when you're struggling, you got to do that. Try something, At this point, he's running about where he was right before he pitted. Maybe not quite as bad. Weeks is behind him, and so is Steinmiller. So, he's not giving it all back yet, but if it stays green another 5 or 10, he will give it all back. It's RC's in some traffic. We saw what happened when Gerald got to some traffic, but at this point, RC's got a 5+ second lead, so. And these guys seeing that it's RC coming, they might not fight him too hard. I say that, and you got somebody trying to make a pass on him here.
Yeah, it might get a little tougher for him because, you got these Cars still pitting. Might have, you know, a bit fresher tires than he does, and might make these passes a little difficult.
And RC is very smart. He knows that, hey, if these guys want to try to fight, I'll sit there and I'll save my stuff. And you know, they're driving 110% trying to fight me. Well, I'll just sit behind them and I'll run 75%, and eventually 75% is going to be, you know, 110. It's very nice though to see a clean race like this at New Hampshire. These guys, you know, like you said, we've seen some contact, we've seen some almost wrecks, but still sitting here, and it's been green from the start. And RC has led every lap, with the exception of the green flag cycle of stops when he lost it there for about 10 or so laps. Tyler Fody coming through. We saw he was one of the last guys to pit. We still have the 56 out here yet to pit. I think at this point, if you're Fody and if you're Weeks, you are very happy with the decision you made to be the last cars to pit, because everybody else has fallen off. And you are, you know, carving through these guys pretty easy without having to abuse it at all.
'56 still sticking it out here.
Yeah, at this point you made your bed. You're going to lay in it and see what happens, and, you know, just hope that it'll work out for you. And we have lapped up to 16th place. There's only 16 cars in the lead lap. And why that is important is you have Chad Frankenfield, you know, just back there, 12th place. So we got Vincent on pit road here. It's going to knock us down to 15 cars on the lead lap. With Chad in 12th, I think Chad's about to lose that spot as well. As Hank's carving through him.
Yeah, that's a extra playoff point right there, passing a playoff driver.
Vincent's going to come out right there, but Vincent is a lapper. He is a lap down at this point, maybe two. And I think just one. He's on the very back end of one. RC is not far behind these guys.
Looks like Chad might be struggling again on exit. I mean, not too bad that time. Off of two, it looks like he pushed out a little bit and has so much wheel in it, just gets a little loose.
Yeah, he's struggling, and if there's not a yellow, he is probably going to finish, I don't know, about where he's at. I mean, Harrison's still out here running. So he's going to lose a spot here to the 32, I believe, at some point.
See the 2 with Tate Lido putting pressure on 37 Ethan Burrell. Give him a look down here.
Tate stayed out a little bit longer than Ethan. And now he's got a little bit fresher tires. Makes that pass. But if you're Ethan, it was worth it. You stayed out. You led a lap. You accomplished that.
And he started 8th, too. I mean, Tate Lido did. So, I mean, solid gain for him tonight. From 8th to 3rd.
Yeah, Tate's one of those guys that if he can get through a race clean, he's always usually in the top 5. So, and he was my pick to win this championship back when the playoffs started. So I don't want to toot my own horn or anything. Just make sure you remember that.
Well, he was on the outside looking in coming into tonight. So if he finishes right here in 3rd place, I mean, that'd be a pretty good way to start off the 2nd round. Especially considering the troubles that the 15 and some other guys have had.
Yeah, and the 56, you might say, oh, he's recovered nicely, but he has yet to make this pit stop. When he pits, he is going to give up a ton of points.
And you almost kind of, I don't know. I mean, that's a tough spot to be in. You kind of just want to pit and bite the bullet, and then get as many as you can when you get those 4 fresh tires on there, and then. But then again, you pit and then a caution comes out. I mean, you kind of think to yourself, why didn't I stay out a little longer?
Well, at this point, I think he might be running out of time. I would venture to say he is at the edge of his fuel window. As Weeks is Fody's into the fence a little bit.
Yeah, it looked like a little more than a little bit. I mean, it looks like he got it pretty good right there coming out of 2.
Yeah, you don't want to do that. I mean, I don't know what he thought he was going to fight there either. The 11 was on well fresher tires. Chad is holding up a group of cars back here that he typically does not have to race around. So I don't know that they want to be aggressive with him, knowing that he's in the playoffs and they're not. But he is really, he's in the way of a lot of cars right here at this point. And then right behind that pack, the leader is not far behind Chad.
Yeah.
I feel like if you're Dustin Dewar, you've got to make this pass if you want to keep that spot. It looks like he's just going to give it up, though.
The leader is only about, 2 seconds behind this pack right here?
Yeah, not far at all. The 56 has finally had to pit. He's reached the end of that fuel window.
Oh, there's the yellow.
I think it's Chad.
Yep. Man. And that's exactly what we were just talking about. You pit and the yellow comes out. We'll take a look at what happened here. Pretty good gap, right there. About 2 car lengths at the finish line.
Yeah, but the 15's on really old tires, so the 56 or the 46 was on, 30, 40 fresher laps, and just the closing rate and everything, just Chad trying to fight for every spot, trying not to let people go, but he might have been better off giving the room there and letting him have it.
Yeah, kind of what we were talking about earlier when we were talking about the tires. Chance for yellow goes up when you get these guys coming out on new tires and guys on old tires, and just the closing rate so massive, and just like that, I mean, it's all it takes. And I think the 56, I mean, he just hit pit road, but he's not going to get that lap back, I don't think.
I do understand that they're putting blame for that on the 46, and I'm not sure if I agree with that. That was, I believe, a racing deal. I don't think Chad thought he was going to be able to get in there. The 46 was, way fresher tires, had way better braking ability. That's just Chad trying to put up a fight. The 46 trying to get around him in a hurry. Just came together. I think that's racing. I don't necessarily agree with anybody getting called out for that. But like you said, I was going to say, that might have worked out for Chad because, he'll be on the lead lap at least, but now he's a lapper, got, more damage.
Yeah, and that was 1 lap away from working out for that 56 car. He would run the lead lap and he'll fix some damage, but just came down pit road about 10 seconds too early.
Now we're going to see a shootout. So I do believe our producer is in our ear telling us that the 51 car never pitted, had to be within a lap or 2 of pitting, and he was able to stay on the lead lap. We saw him go down through the grass and whatnot, and it's worked out for him, with a few guys that had to, to get lapped and whatnot. Looks like we're going to have quite a few wave around cars, if I'm seeing this correctly.
Yeah, I would think. I think this 56 eligible for wave around too, if I'm not mistaken.
He is in
Actually,
front of the leader.
oh yeah,
He's the last car to wave around, but he's added more damage. Look at this car. He's gotten into something else.
yeah. I mean, unfortunately, he came down pit road under green, so he didn't have time to fix any damage. But
Yeah,
he
that
will be
car's
back on the
got
lead lap.
bad right side damage now too. But one thing he does have is fresh tires. I'm gonna tell you, that really hurt Chad. The fact that Chad got lapped really, really hurt Chad. He's one of 2 cars now lapped down and 23rd. If they run green from here and Chad does not get a chance to get those laps back and try to go get some more spots, that is detrimental to finish 23rd in the first race in this round when only 26 guys showed up.
And he'll be racing for this lucky dog here. But yeah, I mean, coming down, it's gonna be what, a 13, 14 lap shootout. You think anybody has anything for that 50 car?
Man, it's a short run, so we don't know. We saw these guys saving tires and taking care of stuff, and I mean, we really don't. I don't know. We don't have very many cars up here, as everybody's still trying to catch up.
Yeah, we had a lot of wave rounds, a lot of guys trying to fly around there and catch back
Yeah,
up. But
RC's going to get away. That might have been a spot where Overtrack should have extended that a lap, possibly. We've seen him do that in other series, and I think that was the time where extending that by a lap would have been the call, I believe. RC's getting away. Gerald's going to be through in second. Tate right now sitting third. Ethan's getting really loose on the top.
I feel like we've raced enough with Gerald to know he's pretty good at these short runs, you know. Saw him good on a long run earlier, but I think this is more in his wheelhouse.
We'll see. We haven't seen RC have to go get it, and it looks like RC is doing exactly what he needs to do.
Oh, maybe Gerald getting a little high right there.
Gerald's trying really hard. He says, I'm going to try to brake later than the braking guy. That's the... nobody's going to be able to brake later than RC and get it stopped. And Gerald, he tried.
Nah, he's just searching for a group up there.
Hey, maybe. Didn't look like he found any. As it looks like Tate's through into second. We got Tooker and Ethan Burrell side by side for fourth. Ethan's really sliding off the corner again. He's really trying to work that top lane. I'm just not sure there's much there. Ethan sliding again off the corner.
Tooker just came up and took it off too.
I really, I'm sure you feel the same way. I really like racing Tooker because when you get to Tooker, if it doesn't matter at that point in the race, he's going to give it to you. He's going to say, you go ahead. But I don't know anybody who's better at going and getting more at the end of the race than Tooker. Like, you'll see Tooker run 4th or 5th all race, and then all of a sudden when it's time to go get it, he's able to go and find race-winning speed a lot of times. I'm not sure if anybody can get up to RC, but at this point it looks like Tooker is definitely good enough to run second. And we haven't seen that at all in the first 90 laps of this race. As Chad just about gets wrecked again.
Man, trying to go up there and get that lucky dog. Actually, he's in position for the lucky dog right now. Racing that 42 car right there, who's 3 wide right now, 56.
Yeah, well, one thing that hurt Chad, and I'm not saying we won't get a yellow. I mean, anything can happen. But the restart basically started everybody spread out. Nobody was with anybody because of the fact that so many cars took the wave around, so many cars were coming around. Nobody got packed up. We saw it. It was 10 or 12 guys at the restart, when it was time to go. Everybody else was kind of trying to come around. Basically, over half the field took a wave around, and that's why I said, Overtrack might have been better off extending that lap under yellow to make sure everybody got there and to race. You know, because like not just because we want to see a yellow or anything like that, but you get packed up and you can race the guys for position. When you don't get to get packed up, you basically restart like what we're seeing on our screen with Gerald, a couple car lengths, and then Tate, a couple car lengths, and then Tooker. That's basically how they restarted trying to catch up to the pack. Again, RC just extending it, just driving away.
You see Tate kind of closing the gap a little on Gerald, running a little higher. Gerald kind of dominating the corner, entering low, letting it slide up, and trying to get that run off.
At just 6 to go here from New Hampshire.
Yeah, this race flying by. I mean, we've been racing for about an hour, and we're just about done.
Yeah, it's just a short little 100-lap sprint race here. And it's been, you know, basically dominated by RC. Nobody's had anything for him. We haven't seen anybody be able to catch him. We haven't seen anybody be able to run him down. We've seen people break even with him, but they're not breaking even with him until he's out there by 2 seconds. And at that point, who's to say if he's even trying? He might just be sitting there like, okay, I'll back up to the pace that this guy in second is running. The battle for second, though, with 5 to go, heating up as Tate is all over the back of Gerald Campbell.
Yeah, and Tate's the top running playoff driver right now. I mean, 31's not in the playoffs, RC's not in the playoffs, so it's just pretty much Tate on back is all our playoff contenders.
And Tate's been known to get up into the booth a little bit. He did one race earlier this season with me here in the I think it was my very first race. Tate was up here with me, so that's a guy who's part of the Elite Racing Network broadcast team along with Gerald Campbell. Showing good tonight. No pressure for us on Wednesday, Nick. You know, try to get up here and do as good as these guys are doing.
Yeah, I don't know. It might be a little tougher on Wednesday in Cup Series. We'll see. Being Auto Club, tough track to be consistently fast at. But coming down to 3 to go.
Haven't really had a chance to shout out our sponsors too much tonight. The Byrd 100, you know, we ran green through most of it, so y'all got a very, very clean green race for the most part. Everybody at C2 Freight, Response Energy, all our sponsors that help make this happen. You know, Jeff Green had a decent night. Where's he running right now? Jeff's up in 8th in the C2 Freight machine. Still very much alive in it. If they do get a yellows, we got 2 to go. 2 laps left in the Byrd 100 for the SMRI Elite Racing Series. See if Tate's willing to maybe move Gerald for the second spot. And one thing I'm thinking of here is if they get to this white flag, and RC's he got to the white flag. Terrible turn of events in the last 20 laps for Chad Frankenfield. That's going to really hurt him moving forward in the playoffs. Ooh. Oh, Tate gets down in there pretty hard. He's going to spin Gerald Campbell. He gets into Gerald. I asked if he was willing to give him the bump. He was willing to send him. Wow.
Man.
Gerald's not going to like that, but one thing I will say about Gerald, he was here to win the race. He's not in the playoffs, so man, it still sucks to lose second. We were 20 seconds away from talking to both of them. Now we're just going to get to talk to Tate Lytle and David Tooker.
Man, I hope they're in the booth together next week.
RC gets the win. Nobody had anything for him tonight.
Yeah, RC pretty much dominated this thing tonight, but we'll go back here and take a look at what happened in turn 1 and 2 on the white. See Tate giving him a look. He's barely there.
Yeah, Tate just pushed up. He just, you know, just trying to gain a spot, you know, when you're racing for the playoffs.
Yeah, he just got in there a little too hot.
Gerald knew it was coming. Gerald could feel him getting closer, and he moved up and up and up and up and up. The contact that finally turned Gerald was well up into the 3rd and 4th lane, but every point matters in these playoffs. We'll see, though. You really don't want to piss somebody off. Really don't want to piss somebody off that's not in the playoffs and give them a reason to take a shot next week. But for right now, it's worked out for Tate. It's not really worked out for Gerald. Tonight's race was so short, though. I wouldn't be against us talking to Gerald as well.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to hear his take on the whole incident. I mean, he had a pretty solid night going the whole night. You know, running second, third, top five, pretty much. But yeah, RC brings it home. Tate second, top finishing playoff driver, and followed by Tooker, points leader Ethan Burrell. Looks like he'll maintain that pretty easily.
Yeah, you got Weeks and Fody there, 5th and 6th. Jeff Green, Hank Steinmiller, Dustin Dewar, Harrison Tyen. Another thing I'll point out is Chad Frankenfield ended up finishing 23rd. It's not good for his playoff hopes. Gerald fell all the way back to 13th. Garrison ended up 14th there.
That's not terrible for the 56. I mean, yeah, for what it was, I mean, pretty decent recovery for what it could have been.
Yep, very decent recovery. Yeah, but like I said, I would love to hear what Gerald has to say tonight as well. After that, we get to talk to Gerald and Tate along with Tooker and RC. All right, we're joined by David Tooker, third place finisher. Another great run tonight, Tooker. We were talking about how you always are able to find some more in the last 20 laps of a race. Take us through your night, how it ran. A lot of green flag racing tonight.
Yeah, like you said, a lot of green flag racing, which is what we wanted. I knew coming into tonight this was one of our better tracks in this round, and had a pretty decent run or pretty decent pace throughout the race, running about fifth to sixth, which is right where I expected. And then once we came down for that halfway stop, I felt like I definitely had a lot more in the tank when the caution came out, but unfortunately, it's just what happens in racing. Caution comes out and we have to reset the field and go again. But we got a really good jump, starting fifth, got a good jump, got up into fourth, finally got past Weeks and got to Ethan, got next to him and was able to roll the bottom just a little bit better than he was and got close, and then got up to Tate and Gerald, but just couldn't really get much else out of it. I felt we were really close on speed, at least us three. So it was definitely going to be a drag race, and unfortunately Tate got into the side of Gerald. He definitely drove it in there. There was no intent of taking him out, but he definitely drove it in there and just ran out of room, it seemed like, and then the netcode incident between them happened. But regardless, I think we're happy with the third place. Might be moving up to second, but if it's third, I'll take it.
Yeah, pretty solid night for you, man. I mean, pretty much ran top five all night. How you feeling next week going into Auto Club?
We're feeling pretty good. Auto Club's one of my favorite tracks on the sim, and I've had a lot of experience there. So hopefully we can take that and hopefully get another top five, maybe a win. But I think the goal for next week is just to run consistent. If it's not a win, top three, just try to stay consistent, stay on the same page with the pack, and make sure we're not losing our footing in the points that we just gained here. I think tonight was definitely a big point stay for me, being so close to the cut line and finishing ahead of the guys that I did. I think with Tate getting what seems to be an EOL, I think I'll be the highest finisher of the chasers. So definitely got some good points tonight, which is what we needed. And then going into Auto Club, hopefully we can carry the same thing.
Wow, that's big news there. You're saying you're hearing Tate might be getting an EOL for the last lap incident?
It's definitely going to be looked at by admin. If anything, I would consider that a racing deal. but you never know with these admins. It definitely did seem like Tate drove it into the corner a little deep, but then again, you're racing for second place and points are on the line, and you got to do what you got to do. But I don't think Tate had any intent of taking him out, but that's just what happened. Tate's not that kind of guy. He's not the kind of guy to go in there and take you out for a spot. He'll definitely race you for it as hard as he can and as clean as he can possibly make it. But just unfortunately ran out of room here, and especially at this track like this is one of the harder tracks to pass, and you really gotta you almost gotta rough the guy up to get by him. But regardless, I think the admins will make the right call whether they choose to give him one or not. It's completely up to them. It's out of my hands. But regardless, still a great run for our team.
All right, I'm on the side of no EOL. It'll work itself out through racing, but like you said, it looks like you should jump up to second in the points. Garrison didn't have a good run. He fought back to 13th, and Chad ended up finishing 23rd. So that should give you a good shot there to be close for that second to fifth group. Anybody you want to thank, and hopefully, you get to come back and talk to us next week in Fontana.
Yeah, I just want to give a huge shout out to the Pro Edge Racing team. We put in a lot of practice for tonight to run as well as we did, and I think for what we got, our results definitely showed up with a second, third, fourth, fifth, and unfortunately Garrison got taken out early, but he was running up front with us too. Just a unfortunate racing incident, and just took him out of it. But no, we came into tonight with a lot of speed, and we definitely showed that. RC was just on another level as far as speed. He was able to get out and just walk away from the field. So great win on his side. But as a team, we ran really well tonight, and also want to give a huge shout out to everybody watching at home, all our fans, as well as JD Designs for all the work he puts in with these paint schemes. He got us all paint schemes ready to go for this season, and they look beautiful. So I love supporting him and his business, and also want to thank you guys for what you do up in the booth for us. Really appreciate it.
All right, thanks, David. Congrats on the run, and we'll see you next week. And hopefully, you can keep your playoff hopes alive heading into the Final Four.
Thank you, boys.
All right, we're joined now by Tate Lytle. Tate, congrats on the run. You ran solid all night, top 3, top 4. Little issue there at the end. Take us through your night and what you think about the possibility of a penalty maybe post race. I'm not sure I agree with that.
What's that?
I understand that there might be a penalty for you post race, and I said I'm not sure I agree with that.
Yeah, I'm watching the admin chat right now, seeing if they're going to give me one or not. Either way, it was a fun race. I felt like I had like 10th place speed that first run. I think I was running 7th or 8th, but not like I really had a whole lot for those guys in front of me. And had some really good speed that last run. I was trying to set up exit runs on Gerald for 5 or 6 laps and got a really good run through 3 and 4 on that second to last lap and got underneath him. And I guess I just drove it in there too hard, and it kind of just went straight when I got to the corner. And I was hoping it wasn't going to spin him out, and I could get off of him and we could drag race down the back. But it looks like my right front somehow hopped his left rear, and I'm lucky it didn't wreck me too. But yeah, sorry to Gerald. That one's on me for sure. We'll see what they call it. I was going to run into him probably regardless, but I don't think anyone spins out without the net code, but that's just part of the game that we play. So we'll see what they think. It's like a 20-point change for me if I do or don't. So we'll see. But yeah, wish it didn't happen. But I don't know. At least Gerald's pretty understanding. We race hard a lot, and unfortunately, I got him there.
Yeah, man. You had a solid night. Started 8th, ran all the way up to 2nd. Looked like you were gonna have a solid night. It's almost holiday time. What do you have on your list to get Gerald now?
Probably nothing that I could say over an interview. Yeah, I'll get him something good. I can't really say it here though. I'll get him something good. Maybe a nice like a framed picture of me or something. Yeah, I don't I don't know.
You'll sign it for him, right?
Oh yeah, I'll sign it. Yeah, it'll be full authentic. But
I think you should frame a picture of that turn 1 incident and send it to him.
Yeah, with his left rear 8 feet off the ground. Oh yeah, I saw him down there in the waiting room. I'm like, should we have some like fake beef? Should we just have some fake beef and just talk some smack about each other in the interview? But we'll see what maybe he comes in here and says that lie. I'm sure he will. I hope he does. But yeah, I mean, fun
Well,
race. I love New Hampshire. It's hard as hell to pass, but I mean, you got to hit your marks. I mean, every corner to be able to make any sort of time. And it was kind of hard that first half of the race, but I felt like that last run we were doing pretty good. I mean, obviously, no one has anything for RC half the time. There's a reason why he's driving real race cars and we're not, but he's always a deserving winner. And yeah, another good race. Wish I wouldn't have got into Gerald. It'll probably cost you about 20 spots, but is what it is at this point.
Needless to say, Nick and I race with you a lot. There's nobody that's more fun to race. That we can race hard, and we butt heads from time to time. But I
Oh, yeah.
wouldn't. I wouldn't change it racing anybody else. So, anybody you want to thank tonight, and looking forward to Fontana. Hopefully, they don't take those points away. But if they do, going to be digging out of quite the hole after
Oh, yeah.
after this week.
I mean, with my average finish of like 19th in this series, it's not like I really deserve to be in the Final Four anyway. But I mean, we're still going to give it all we got. Auto Club's a pretty good track for us. But you got to thank Belly Up Sports.com, Days Gone By, Vintage Racing Apparel, Chad for as much as he's trying to get me in EOL right now for putting up with all of us. You guys for sitting up here and watching us drive fake race cars for a little over an hour, and Gavel for running the cameras for over an hour, or Gavel, I forget which one's right and which one's wrong, but yeah.
We call him Daddy up here.
Is stepdaddy Gable. All right, you boys have a good night, and we'll catch y'all Wednesday. Hopefully there's no more last lap shenanigans.
Yeah, no pressure moving into the next week, but you were my pick when these playoffs started, so don't let me down.
Really? After what you've seen this season, dude, I got like an average finish like 19th. That one win, I don't think I would have made the chase if I didn't have the one win. So it's been a pretty poor season. Me and Adams wrecked each other at Vegas. I mean, I don't know. I feel like I'm a little behind the 8 ball on these Xfinity cars right now, but if I'm going to be good anywhere, it'll be next week at Auto Club, so we'll see where I stack up.
All right, good luck next week, and go get that win and come back and talk to us. All right, joined by the winner, seeming to be at least, once every 2 weeks, RC comes up here sneaking off the playoff show. Here he is again. You ever going to decide to run a full schedule RC and try to win a championship?
Oh, I want to try. It's just tough. I missed too many events with traveling, and I can only do so many, and I just have to hope that they fall on the Mondays that I'm in town. So it's tough to know if I'm going to put a whole schedule together, but I hope if I just keep trying, maybe I'll get a good run in.
Yeah, man. If it wasn't for green flag pit stops, you probably would have led flag to flag in this thing. What do you think makes you so good at New Hampshire? Because we see that in the Elite Cup Series too. I mean, you always seem to run up front here.
Yeah, I think it's a lot to do with the short oval. You drive it a lot like a road course, especially in the Xfinity car. The thing's moving around a lot, and the tire wear, you spend very little time really full throttle. So it's a lot of throttle control and then just managing tires. But a huge thing is finding the right brake bias and making sure that the car is not overusing the fronts for rears. So I think the short track and the road course is where I excel the most. I'm still working on my 1.5 miles, some decent at some, and then the plate tracks, that's just a chess game.
Well, all right, RC, congrats on the win. Anybody you want to thank tonight?
Just you guys up here in the booth, Chad, who runs the league, and then all these guys for competing. I mean, sometimes it's a good day for me, and sometimes I really struggle to even hang with these guys. So it's cool to have that mix up, and I just hope to be back for more of them. Thanks.
All right, you wouldn't do it, but I'll shout out Top Gun Racing as well. You guys running some more IndyCar races next year, so good luck with that. And you've been walking the dog lately. Talk about running away, losing some of these guys at some places. Staking up the show. Hopefully you can do it again here for the end of the year and come back and see us. But good luck next week in Fontana.
Thanks a lot, guys.
All right, we typically only get a chance to talk to the top 3, but we feel like this guy was well worth the conversation tonight, running second until the last lap. Gerald, take us through your night and the incident there on the last lap with Tate.
Yeah, it it was tough. I wanted to come out and actually win. I'm not racing for points or anything, and I thought I had this is probably one of my best tracks, and I thought I was pretty good here. And then RC decided to show up and show what really good was tonight. So, yeah, RC was not going to be caught by no one in the field, and I felt like second was definitely on the cards. I kind of didn't have the long run speed, and I let Tate kind of get up to me because I was trying so hard to catch up to RC that it ended up having a battle with him. If I had just focused on second, I felt like it wouldn't have been in that situation. But since I wasn't running for points, I was going all for it. So it is what it is. I think those Pro Edge guys were just jealous that I was ahead of every single one of them. I don't know. Those Pro Edge guys usually are leading the pack, so it was a feel good story to be able to be ahead of all of them there at the end. But contact was made. I don't think Tate did that on purpose, but obviously he knows, and he's not bashful about it. He knows he went in a little too deep and got into me. So it's not like a driver is saying it was not on them. So that there's a lot of drivers that will just absolutely deny Chad no, just absolutely deny that it's that it was their fault for the incident. He did. So I can't be mad. I mean, it's racing. You're gonna have that whenever we race against each other. I don't know how many times in a year with all the different leagues that we're in. For us not to have contact, if me and Tate never had contact, Tate's too good of a driver up front. If I don't have contact with him at some point, it means I'm not running up front. So, I've been involved in contact with you, Chris. Me and you've gotten into it a couple times and been angry and gotten over it. And we seem to always race pretty well. And Nick, well, I don't know what Nick's doing. Nick, you don't even hear from him until the final points of the night, and then he's finished the second, gains the most points in the regular season. So I don't really ever see Nick until the paycheck comes out. But yeah, like I said, it does it suck? Yeah, it sucks. I wanted second real bad. I wanted to. I've been having a tough season, not finishing very well, didn't make any of the playoffs. Coming from a championship last year to this year, not even making the playoffs, you kind of almost feel like a fraud at sometimes. So when you come out and you look strong and you have somewhat of a dominant car, you want to have the performance, and you definitely want to end the performance. And unfortunately, it ended a little sourly for me. But we'll go on to the next one. Can't be distraught over one race. There's plenty more elite races to go. So definitely we'll try to go for it next time.
No, yeah, man, you're having a great run. We were talking about our Elite Racing Network buddies down there running second and third, and then about 5 laps later, you guys go down in there and clean each other out. But we're I asked Tate. I told him holiday season's coming up. I asked him if he had any ideas about what to get you now, and threw out a couple ideas. So
Jack, Crown. There's a couple. ABC Liquor has about all my favorite gifts, I think. So you go to them there, you'll find something that I like. It's just as long as it comes in liquid form, I'm pretty happy about it. No, but yeah, like I said, I'll see you guys at the Cup race on Wednesday. Do you know where are we racing on Wednesday?
Auto Club.
Oh crap. Well, I'll see you guys out front at Auto Club. Well, that stinks. Going from a racetrack that I'm one of my best to one of my least favorite, Auto Club. So yeah,
we'll see you wide open up by the fence.
Yeah. Watch out, Tate. I'm coming for you.
Yeah, you get Auto Club on Wednesday and then Auto Club next Monday night. So twice in a row, maybe you'll figure it out. But anybody you want to thank tonight, and maybe you'll come back and talk to us next week at Auto Club.
Yeah, thanks to you guys. Thanks broadcasting team. You guys do your best. Obviously Sunday night's where it's at, but you guys try. So
Listen, them's fighting words. All right, we're great up here. We got Ryan, we got Nick, we got myself. We'll go head to head with anybody.
You guys are in trouble. I haven't announced it yet, so this is kind of an announcement on here for you guys, just so that way someone's watching. But it's going to be both myself and my wife doing the announcing on Sunday night. My wife is going to join me in the broadcast booth, and we're gonna announce the truck race together. So it's gonna be a new perspective. She's better looking than all of us, so well, I'll have an advantage over you guys on Sunday. But yeah, no. Other than that, good job for Jeff Green, part of my team this year, part of Progressive Eagle, uh, and he did great. I told him, what the keys to winning a championship is just not messing up. Don't put yourself in a bad position. You're not going to win every single race. I've gone through the chase and not won a single race in the chase and ended up in the final four. And when you're in the final four, it's a crapshoot. There's no, it's a roll of the dice which four, will win the race. So as long as you're in the final four, you have a chance to win the championship. So Jeff Green's doing a heck of a job. I think he this year should definitely be considered as one of the most improved overall drivers in Elite, just with the consistency he's shown in the Xfinity side here. So he's doing a great job. Can't wait to see what Jeff Green can do if he gets into that final four. I think it's gonna just really be a stellar group for the final four if he can make it in. So yeah, other than that, thank you guys, and show up next one.
All right, Gerald and Jeff Green. We love Jeff Green. C2 Freight does a lot for Elite, and like you said, when you get to that Final Four, anything can happen. We saw that last year. You were out of it going into 3 and coming out of 4. You're the guy that won it, so anything can happen. Come back and see us next week, and tune in on Sunday night to hear Gerald and his wife broadcast a race. Well, Nick, we saw a little bit of everything tonight. We saw lots of green flag racing, green flag stops. We saw a late yellow, boxed everybody up. RC still drove off and left everybody. And then, on the last lap, we saw a little bit of drama. Don't know if a penalty is going to come from that or not. And we saw some playoff guys lose a ton of points. Some guys hold serve. And Ethan probably stretched it out to 25 or 30. What's your takeaway tonight?
Yeah, I mean, just that I didn't know what coming into tonight. I didn't know really what to expect. I mean, sometimes you see long green runs here in New Hampshire. It goes green all the way, like we saw tonight. Sometimes it's just back-to-back yellows, and it just seems to just drag on. But it's a good race tonight. Nice clean race. I mean, like you said, saw a little bit of drama that last lap. Could be a pretty big championship implications if the admins decide to issue a penalty to the 2-car Tate Lytle for that last lap contact. But it'll be interesting to see going into the next 2 weeks before we reach our finale. Who's going to make the final four, make the cut?
Yeah, and again, it was the Byrd 100 tonight. Thank everybody at Elite, everybody at Elite Racing Network. Ryan Gavel's our broadcaster. Nick joined me tonight. Everybody at C2 Freight, everybody at Response Energy, Blue Egg Marketing. All these people help make it happen. Shout out to Chad. Like I said, he runs the league every night in the week, and he's going to make room for one more starting in the middle of January. The F1 league is going to pick up. So if you are thinking about getting into league racing, you want to do an F1 league, come to Elite, run it. Should be fun. Great inaugural season getting ready to kick off. Looking forward to seeing it. Maybe they'll let us up into the booth for a couple of those races, Nick. But for myself and Nick and Gavel, thanks for tuning in. Come back and see us next week. And tune in Sunday night to watch Gerald and his wife call a race. And tune in Wednesday night to watch the playoffs